Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160, and I'm really excited about today's show. And one of the reasons why I'm excited about today's show is I get to prove to Sensible Don that I don't really need him.
Oh, wow.
Is that harsh or what?
This guy's worried about job security now.
See, I am a benevolent. By the way, I want to stress this. I love my sidekick. Sensible Don is loyal, he's funny, and he's good. But I get tired of all these people saying, Bulldog, you don't need a sidekick. You can do your show on your own. Well, of course I can. But I am not insecure. I have nothing to prove. Last night, TC, I was sitting in the my living room, and this is hilarious. This will kind of give you an idea about my life. I'm sitting there watching a movie. And at the same time, by the way, it was a terrible movie. I'm going to give it a bad review. It's a jackwagon status. Justin Timberlake's movie In Time on DirecTV. I'm watching that movie, reading the Wall Street Journal, writing notes for my work, for my law cases, and watching Led Zeppelin videos on YouTube all at the same time. Wall Street Journal, Led Zeppelin, movie, and law.
You are totally culturally well-rounded.
Is that multitasking? And like today, I've got some fun things to show you. I got my newspapers at the breaks. I'm even going to do some legal work. I got some deadlines to meet. And a great show and tell. Right here, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, is a photograph. Now, this is just not a photograph of my shaking George Bush's hand when he was president. There is some great backstory to this. Well, first of all, as you can see, I have hair. But there's Lawson Walker, who is the past chairman of the airport board. Elizabeth Thomas, who was the matriarch of the Kenton County Republican Party, and it was her who asked me to be the Kenton County Republican chairman at the ripe old age of only 24. Wow. And I agreed to do that. 7 people wanted the job. Behind the president is Ken Harper, who was also a patriarch of the Kenton County Republican Party, who didn't like me. He tried to get me canned from 2 political campaigns, and both Clyde Middleton and Dick Rodine said, sorry, Ken. And he didn't do anything. He was supposed to be the fundraiser of Mark Carey's campaign when he ran for judge executive and didn't do a darn thing. I give Mark Carey $1,000, the only person who gave Mark Carey $1,000. It's also why Judge Bates started not liking me, which led to some bar battles. Then when I run for office, Mark Carey doesn't give me a nickel. That, ladies and gentlemen, is politics. Now, there's more to this. Another person who was in this line was Michael Fox, who at the time was the Butler County chairman. And guess what? He's headed to jail.
Now he's known as inmate 9364759.
But isn't that a great bet? I greeted the president 5 times, and the final point I want to make about this is this was the last time I met him at the airport, and this is the time he's shaking my hand. You can see him smiling. And this is right after he shook my hand is when he said, aren't you the guy? Of course, he doesn't know my name. He goes, aren't you the guy that always greets me at the airport?
Did he really?
Because I met him 5 times at the airport. Wow. So he said, God, at least remembered, hey, there's this guy greets me at the airport every time. And I said, yes, sir, Mr. President.
Well, you've got an inside connection. We got to get him on the show sometime.
Absolutely. Me and George Herbert Walker. He was the good Bush president.
That's right. Hey, GH, it's me, the guy that always greets you at the airport. Why don't you come on my show?
Oh, we have so much great stuff to tell you. And you know what? Today's show is going to be dominated by stories because so many funny stories happened to me. I'll start out with this one. This is classic. I have this case that I didn't want to take anymore. And just so you know, from the time you take on a client until the end, it sometimes just doesn't work out. It's just the nature of the beast. And I met with a client yesterday. I scheduled a meeting with a client yesterday to dump him. I had decided, man, this case, we're wasting our time and money. I got to dump this case. Well, the client comes in, and the client begins the visit to the office by petting whiskey and telling everybody in the office how wonderful whiskey is and how wonderful I am. Then the client proceeded to tell me a story. Now, I'm sitting in the conference room getting ready to dump this client, okay? The client proceeds to tell me that how much he loves me and that he almost got in a fist fight with somebody who said something negative about me. Then proceeded to ask for Bulldog Nation bumper stickers for every freaking vehicle they own. And I'm sitting there saying, are you kidding me? So then the question was asked, okay, so what'd you want to meet me for? Well, I just wanted to update you about your case, and we're going to battle all the way to the end, and boom, 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 boom.
The guilt got you, huh?
Oh, my God. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, I said, how in the heck Can I drop this case? This guy almost gets in a fist fight defending me. He's getting bumper stickers for every vehicle that he owns. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Now, see, I don't care what Sensible Don says. You do have a heart.
Darn right I have a heart. You know, Sensible Don better be careful what he says because he's not here to defend himself. Of course, then again, he'd be defenseless even if he was here. Ah! Now look at this. There's my schedule for the last few days and upcoming weekend. How do you like that?
What's the stuff that's highlighted there?
The stuff that's highlighted is stuff that's like really important, which basically means everything's really important. Today, I think I have to, after the radio show, I think I got to be in like 9 places. But enough of that. The quote of the day is from Benjamin Franklin, one that we haven't used yet. Where liberty is, there is my country. Hey, hey, hey. Sounds like Ron Paul ought to adopt that one.
Yeah.
Today in history, the Treaty of Paris in 1763, which ended the 7 Years' War. And those of you that don't realize this, the 7 Years' War, which is also known as the French and Indian War in the United States, do you realize that that was what led to the American Revolution because all those taxes the Brits put upon the colonies was to pay for that war? Just a little bit. Queen Victoria married Prince Albert in 1840. Sad because Prince Albert died. Didn't live to be a long life as Queen Victoria did.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. 1962.
Did you have Prince Albert in a can?
Yes. George Romney announced his candidacy for governor of Michigan, and he won. Arthur Alex Haley, 1992, who's the great author of Roots, died in Seattle. Sad, sad, sad. Two funny birthdays today, and they're not dead, so we can give you their ages.
Okay.
And the reason why they are funny is because they are directly opposite of each other politically. Glenn Beck is 47, and George Stephanopoulos is 50. Of course, I don't like George Stephanopoulos. He's a jackwagon. Unfortunately, we have a military death to report. Sergeant First Class Billy A. Sutton, 42, of Tupelo, Mississippi, the home birthplace of Elvis Presley, died February 7th in Afghanistan. He was assigned to the 223rd Engineer Battalion, 168th Engineer Brigade, Mississippi National Guard, West Point, Mississippi. And I just want to say that I'm going to pat myself on the back in Bulldog Nation Radio because we are the only station in town, for whatever reason, I don't get it, that announces and honors those who are fallen every day as we report them. Today it's going to be rainy and snowy. Saturday, partly cloudy. Sunday, we might get an inch or two. You know, I was watching the newscast, particularly Fox 19. They're just dying. They're just begging. They're just wanting so bad to be a bad weather storm. But it's not going to come. Got a great feel-good song today. It's the best football song of all time. We're not going to play it for you yet. And we're also going to have some Grammy music, and we're going to cover the Grammys in pop culture because that, of course, is Sunday night. In history, in 1939, Thanksgiving was scheduled to fall on the last day of November. Retailers lobbied FDR to move it a week earlier. The idea is to kind of give the shopping season another week. The decision quickly became front page news and sparked a firestorm of controversy. The issue divided the country. 23 states decided to celebrate on the original date. 23 others went along with the new date. Texas and Colorado celebrated both. How do you like that?
2 turkeys.
2 Thanksgiving days. The following year, Roosevelt sheepishly admitted the whole thing was a mistake and returned to Thanksgiving to its original date. Congress passed a law setting that date in stone so no president could ever again mess with Thanksgiving. But how do you like that? That year, let's have that year again, 1939. How cool would it be to live in Texas and Colorado, TC? Well, Thanksgiving twice. I wonder if they replayed the football games.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
You know?
Yeah. Maybe just kind of like today, modern times. You got 2 turkeys in Texas now.
Right.
One of them's named Bush.
And one's named Perry.
But we don't want to go there.
Sure
we do.
Do we have a time for the joke?
Yeah, we have time.
An engineer dies and reports to heaven at the pearly gates. St. Peter checks his dossier, seeing his name there accidentally sends him to hell. It doesn't take long before the engineer becomes, he soon begins to design and build improvements in hell. Shortly thereafter, hell has air conditioning, flush toilets, escalators, and wireless internet. The engineer becomes a popular guy. One day, God calls Satan and sneers, "How are things at hell? I hear it's hellish." Satan replies, "Things are really looking up around here. We've got air conditioning, flush toilets, escalators, wireless internet, the whole 9 yards. And there's no telling what this engineer is going to come up with next." What? God exclaimed. You've got an engineer. That's a mistake. He should have never been sent to hell. Returning to me. Not a chance, Satan says. I like having an engineer on staff, and I'm keeping him. God insists. Send him back or I'll sue. Satan sneers. Yeah, right. Where are you going to find a lawyer?
That was good.
I like those lawyer jokes.
I hope there aren't any attorneys listening who might be offended by that.
Probably. When we come back, we're going to have some pop culture. Boo! On Real Talk 1160.
Get back in the garden with Denny McEwen tomorrow morning starting at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. You know, we need to nourish your mind. Very important we nourish your mind. By the way, I have, I do limericks and my creative juices, TC, on announcing the show. Last night, it came to me because Carrie will send me an email that says, what's the promo for tomorrow? And I think I came up with this. In this corner is boring, mundane, plain, and simple, terrible radio. Dysentery. Dysentery. Pronounce it correctly. Dysentery. And in this corner, inspirational, informative, entertaining, witty, and wise, radio superbity. Let's get ready to rumble. That's a pretty good promo, I thought.
I like that.
Shakespeare for the day, life every man holds dear, but the dear man holds honor far more precious, dear than life. That's good. Vindicate, declare your name. That's the word of the day. And then we have a dog saying of the day, which is pretty good. It's from the Bible. Ecclesiastes. You got to love that word. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. I'd say so. This Saturday night, TC, I am the master of ceremonies at a charity event, black tie. I hope I still fit in my tux. Cincinnati Children's Hospital Asthma Research Fundraiser, Saturday night down at the Syndicate in Newport. Hope it doesn't snow too bad. They have a fashion show, and I am the master of ceremonies, which opens up a question that I need to ask Bulldog Nation Radio. My wife is out of town in Florida, so I don't want to go by myself, although I might. So I was thinking about who's the appropriate person to take with me. My first choice is my daughter, Erica, who I just sent a text message, and she says she's watching the UK game somewhere. But I thought my daughter, Erica, would be a good choice.
Well, don't take that one guy,
I'm not going to take my former buddy who broke up with me. Yeah. No, he's off the list.
Forget him, yeah.
But
Don's out of town.
But I got to take somebody who would be appropriate that doesn't get me in trouble. Like, it's not going to be a female. Yellow Ribbon Support Center Chili Cook-Off, Saturday, March 10th, 2012 from 2 to 7. You can find more about this on my blog and newsletter. Sensible Don, I got to ask you a question. Oh, and I got to save that for legal. That's
for who?
Not Sensible Don. TC, I got to save. I got something for legal. But Valentine's Day, I have as we begin pop culture, I have a gift idea for everybody. And this is, gentlemen, if you buy this for your wife, you're kind of helping yourself out because it smells good. My wife bought, I got it for her for Christmas. It's by Marc Jacobs, this perfume called Daisy. And I tell you right now, my favorite perfume of all time was Design. My wife wore Design the first time I met her. And I tell you right now, I was like, God, that smells good. But it is called Daisy by Marc Jacobs. Gentlemen, buy that for your wife, and if she doesn't like the smell, well, the hell with her, divorce her. But if she likes the smell, you'll like it, because I'm telling you, it's the best-smelling perfume of all time. Marc Jacobs Daisy. But let's get to pop culture, and the big news in pop culture is the Grammys coming up Sunday night at 8 p.m., and I've listed on my blog and newsletter the country album nomination, album of the year, record of the year, song of the year, best new artist, R&B album, rap album, rock album, pop vocal album. And all I got to say is this. I'm going to give you some statistics about Adele. And this is all on my blog and newsletter today. And this was incredible. Adele, by the numbers. Start at 21, the title of Adele's second album. 5.8 million copies of 21 have sold. Best-selling album since 2004. 5.8 million. 6.7 million total albums sold. Year's best-selling artist. 4 million physical copies of 21 sold. Year's top seller. 1.8 million digital copies of 21 sold. Best-selling ever. 5.8 million downloads of Rolling in the Deep, year's best-selling digital song. Now, I don't know if this is a typo, but this song right here, Someone Like You, on YouTube last night, I checked it out, 117,614,592 hits.
Wow.
I mean, that's got to be like international hits. But, ladies and gentlemen, put that in perspective. There's 320 million Americans, men, women, and children.
Yeah.
117 million hits, TC.
Plus ours. Add one more.
Jeez.
That's incredible. And she's only, what, like 22, 23, 24?
Yeah. What a voice and what a song.
And she's British.
Yeah, she's British. Listen to this. This will get you in the gut. I just got goosebumps myself. I say this will win.
Oh, yeah.
You know, is there anything heartbreak, lost love, unrequited love, love that never, like, love that's there, but it's never able to be acted upon for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That Shakespearean tragedy. I think that's the best in it. That, you know, like the movie about Beethoven, true story, Immortal Beloved, where he was supposed to meet that woman.
Right.
And he didn't get there on time, and she leaves, and they never hook up.
That missed opportunity.
Oh, my God. You know, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury. If you're a youngster, listen to my show, and there's some woman out there that you're in love with, and she doesn't know it, go ahead and just tell her and ask her, because what the hell? All she's going to do is say no, right, TC?
That's right.
My present wife, who I'm married to, which is kind of fortuitous, I was in love with her from afar when I was a teenager, but she was like out of my league, all right? I actually picked the phone up and dialed her number once and hung up. I couldn't. I was too chicken. And I think to myself, man, what I know now. What the hell they do is say no.
That's it. Exactly.
Go for it. It's the bottom line, folks.
They say no, and it's all right. I was just joking anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to go out with you. I got to save face somehow, right?
That's a classic. We've all done that. Well, I was just kidding. I really didn't want to go out with you. You know, what you got to do is you got to have somebody ask. Holly Dybert, my first girl that I really, really liked, I had Doug Gross ask her to see if she'd go out with me before I asked her, and she said yes. I said, that was relief. Because the first girl I ever asked out said no, and I was crushed.
So he was like your exploratory committee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, that's another tip for you. Form an exploratory committee.
Yeah. Hey, the Bulldog kind of likes you. You like Bulldog?
Did you ever see the movie Expendables? That was where Sly Stallone. And by the way, you can say what you want about Sylvester Stallone, but he's a smart dude. The whole Rocky thing, you know, he made money. Then the First Blood series. And you know what? He came up with this idea about getting back together all the old-time dudes, you know, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He asked Claude Van Damme, and he didn't want to do it. But he got all of them, Stone Cold Austin, you know, all the old-time action movie stars and Expendables. Jason Statham and him were the two main stars, and it was a great guy movie. Well, they just shot Expendables 2, and it turns out, they say it was an accident, that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone both needed surgery after filming this thing, and they ended up in the same recovery room, and they took a picture of themselves. I don't think that was an accidental thing. Nice little promotion.
Right.
But what a great idea. He called up everybody. Oh, they didn't have Chuck Norris in it. He had, who's the Chinese martial artist that's really, really good? Oh, gosh.
Jackie Chan.
Jet Li. Well, Jackie Chan, too, but he has Jet Li in it.
Oh, okay.
Stone Cold Austin. He had a bunch of old-timers in it, and it was great. It's kind of like the Magnificent Seven type thing. Let me see here. Steve Jobs, he even had an FBI file. Imagine that. The E Street Band, Bruce Springsteen's going back out on the road. And Clarence Clemens' nephew, Jake Clemens, is going to be on tour with him. Isn't that cool?
Really?
His nephew's going to be filling in for big old Clarence.
He played saxophone?
Plays the saxophone.
Nice.
Katy Perry's divorce is final. Any of you single men out there, just pick the phone up and ask. You just watch. There's going to be stalking charges all over the place. They're going to say, well, Bulldog told me.
That's what it was. He was stalking.
Here's 3 lousy movies that I have seen on DirecTV in the past week. Driver with Ryan Gosling, In Time with Timberlake, and Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. Don't waste your time. Almost hit Sensible Don. TC, you may not believe this, But Matt Lauer, what a joke. He sits there and he interviews people. He makes $17 million a year. And apparently he's a little jealous that Ryan Seacrest was mentioned to replace him. So his contract was up in December and he was going to move on. But now he might stick around. And there's rumors that they might pay him as much as $30 million. Now I got to ask this question. What the hell does Matt Lauer bring to the NBC Today Show? I mean, I don't get the guy.
You know what? It's not necessarily him, but according to Linda Ellerby, what TV sells, especially TV news, they're not selling you the newscast. They're selling you the audience. The audience that they bring, and not selling us, but selling to the advertiser.
Well, I mean, tell me, Matt Lauer, though, I'm like, what?
I know.
This is my final thing in pop culture is funny. Everybody knows that Lindsay Lohan's dad, Michael Lohan's, had some legal troubles. Well, apparently as part of his probation, he has to get a job, and he's applied at West Palm Beach's Burger King.
Really?
Now, just imagine this. I'm going to paint this scenario. Michael Lohan is working at the Burger King in West Palm Beach. Can you imagine the questions from the kids working there? Oh, Lindsay, what's Lindsay like? What's Lindsay like? You know, the guys are going to be asking, hey, man, can you get me a date with Lindsay?
Might be good for business.
It'll be good for business. But can you imagine going through the drive-thru and there's Michael Lohan, Lindsay's dad. How you doing, Mike? Don't get in trouble anymore, buddy.
Want fries with that?
When we return, we're going to have sports. Sports on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. You know, I was getting ready to do my sports, had it all ready to go. And what happens? I got to get interrupted. I got to get interrupted by the two fat guys.
Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Are you? I was going to ask you if I could trade in my salt pile and my snow shovels for some raincoats.
Real funny. Hey, we're supposed to get 2 inches of snow over here. We're having a big party.
Well, you know what? I hope for your sake you get some snow so you can unload that inventory of salt, gloves, and snow shovels. Do you got any special deals besides that going on at Ace Hardware, guys?
Buy one, get one free sled.
How about we don't have room to store them? Come just pick one up.
Man, we got all kinds of good stuff. We're ready to go. I mean, if it's so nice out and you're cooking out, just come into your local Ace Hardware and get a Weber grill.
I got an important question to ask you guys because I think you try to project yourself as man's men and a woman's ladies' men. And I just got to ask you this. You know, I'm doing my comedy show on Valentine's Day at 7 o'clock down at Tickets, and it's getting nearly sold out. And I was going to put you guys on the ticket, so to speak, but I keep bringing this up to you, and it seems to me that you all have not received clearance from the people that control your lives. Is that correct?
No clearance here. Man, I'm on my 3rd wife. You kidding me? I got to do what I'm told.
3rd wife, you're as bad as Jamie Schloy, our station manager.
I can't build another house. I'm too old.
He's only been married 4 times.
Hey, but what I did do for you is on twofatguysradio.com, I've got about 50 wonderful jokes for you, buddy. So you're more than welcome to steal them.
You know what? I might. No, I don't need your jokes. I got my own jokes. Now,
hey, we got a public service announcement.
Go ahead, announce.
The interstate connecting Indianapolis to Cincinnati was backed up for hours yesterday, and you probably heard about it.
Why was it backed up for hours yesterday?
There was a bearded lady with one glass eye, and she T-boned a 3-legged man on a motorcycle. The police called it a freak accident.
Oh.
For Sounders for Smokey.
No.
That's about as shocking as getting your first gray pube, wasn't it?
Yeah, you see, what I was going to have you guys do, and I don't know you know about this comedy, but the lead-in acts are supposed to be kind of sour to make the main attraction really good.
Oh, we see how you play.
I mean, can you come down and tell some more of those freak accident jokes?
Hey, now, did you come over to the Super Bowl and not say hi? What happened?
I did not come over to the Super Bowl. You know what? I'm one of these people that I hate crowds. I mean, I hide behind this microphone, but I hate crowds.
Well, I got the chance to meet Chaz Bono, and it was kind of appropriate. He was wearing a shirt that said, guess.
What did it say?
Guess. I met David Hasselhoff during one of the Super Bowl parties. He's a real nice guy. Told me to call him Hoff. I said, sure, no hassle.
Oh.
Are you sure? You don't need jokes to steal, do you, Bulldog?
No. Did you meet Gazelle or Grizel or Grizzle, whatever
Giselle.
the hell? Gazelle, Giselle,
Giselle,
Bunchen?
yeah.
Did you meet her?
Called the whole team out there. Ain't that great? I'd like to meet her.
Do you think you've got the stuff to steal it from Tom Brady, guys?
Well, yeah, we do. What kind of question's that? Yeah, we're twice as big as him.
Yeah, what kind of show are you going to have Saturday from 11 to 12? What are you going to have?
Nothing but laughs, jokes, and a whole lot of information. Spring, everybody's starting to get spring fever, and we're going to tell you how to have the greenest lawn and the fattest tomato and how to get into Ace Hardware, and we're going to fix you up.
This is going to be known as the year without a winter. I have only had to scrape ice off my windshield twice, and it is February 10th. This is bizarre.
Yeah, they say it's the mildest winter since 1955. I was 2 years old then. I remember it well.
I believe it because this is incredible. I mean, it's like let me see, last weekend I was out and about without a coat on.
Yeah.
In February.
Oh, yeah, it was 60 degrees over here, and we're not real happy about it.
So,
most of your local Ace Hardwares have Carhartts 50% off.
Are people buying things at Ace Hardware getting ready for spring already since it's mild?
Oh, yeah. They're looking, yep. We're selling mulch and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I listen to your show. I'm not just blowing sunshine up your butt. When I'm driving and I'm out and about, I don't listen to radio when I'm home, but when I'm driving out and about, I listen to your show. In the last 2 weeks, I've called your show because I had something witty and wise to say, and I couldn't get through. So I just want you to know you need to do a little bit better answering your phone.
Oops, we're time delayed. They time delay it. You can't believe it, because they want to filter me. They're afraid of what I'm going to say.
Time delay. But I had something witty wise to say. And another thing is, I noticed this. The last 2 weeks I listened to your show, gentlemen. Right. You call in every Friday to promote Ace Hardware.
Right. We didn't mention nothing about Bulldog, did we?
And I think you guys probably pay a lot of money for us to do that. But anyway, bottom line is, I never hear a mention in a reference of the Bulldog show.
Okay, well, we're going to fix that.
I mean, even if you say something bad, any publicity is better than no publicity.
Well, we stand corrected. I wish we would have said more so we could have took that back.
Well, go ahead and promote the hell out of whatever you want to promote at your Ace Hardware and the Tri-State Ace Hardwares.
On AceHardware.com, look up your local Ace Hardware and get in there. Buy some ice melt. Tell them the two fat guys sent you.
All right, guys. You guys have a great weekend and a great show.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All right, that's Rick and Smokey, the two fat guys who do a show here every Saturday morning from 11 to 12.
He says, call me Hoff. I said, no hassle. That was pretty funny.
That was pretty good. Here's sports.
All right.
NBA, Lakers 88, Celtics 87. The All-Star team's been announced. Starters for the East, Wade, James, Howard, Rose, and Anthony. Starters for the West, Kobe, Bynum, Paul, Griffin, and Durant. And this is interesting. This Garnett, Duncan, and Stoudemire not on the teams. Not chosen. Sports marriage, Kevin Youkilis. Boston Red Sox is engaged to Tom Brady's sister, Julie.
Wow.
A sports merger of epic proportions.
Really?
Ray Malaluga is accused of punching this past weekend the manager of Lux, a downtown bar. I don't believe it. Ray Malaluga is a friend of mine. I like Ray Malaluga. I got to meet him on the celebrity softball circuit, and I will defend Ray Malaluga for free. And I would bet the manager, if it did happen, deserved to be punched, TC.
Were there any witnesses?
I don't know. Ray Malaluga's a good guy. Red Spring Training. Their stuff is packed and ready to travel to Arizona.
The pitchers are getting ready to, about 8 days?
Yep. NKU defeated Indianapolis last night, 77-61. And then finally in sports, J.K. Schaefer, the Scholar Athlete of the Year for the Big East. What an honor. You think about all the Scholar athletes there are, and J.K. won that.
Yeah.
I hope he gets to play on Sunday somewhere. I want to be his agent. Are you ready for some?
Arliss.
Huh?
You're like Arliss.
Arliss, you ready for some legal?
Yeah, let's do some legal.
A lawsuit has been filed against the Whitefish Mountain Resort ski area, TC, over a statue of Jesus placed on the mountain on a small parcel of federal land by the local chapter of the Knights of Columbus. It's been there since 1955, and now They're claiming it violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment of the Constitution.
I think the statute of limitations might have run out on that one.
Yeah, there ought to be a statute of limitations on First Amendment.
Now, it's been there since 1959?
1955.
55?
Now, doesn't this fall in the category of why do you have to be so anal retentive?
Yeah.
And the practice of law, there are some lawyers that will like doing discovery, like we're exchanging documents back and forth, and it's kind of loosey-goosey, and everybody just kind of does it. I need an extension on this. And then there's some lawyers that will send you letters, according to local civil rule, da-da-da-da-da-da, you failed to sign, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, it's like, give me a break.
Right.
Anal retentive dudes. Oh, by the way, I'm going to brag. Imagine that, TC.
You? No
Yesterday,
way.
I walked in the courtroom. This is just funny. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you like it is. If you don't hire me to be your lawyer in the tri-state, regardless of your legal matter, you're stupid. Because I'm the best. I walked in the courtroom yesterday on a divorce case involving and I'm not going to say who the lawyer is because I like him, but this lawyer, quote unquote, is a big-time member of the bar, and he's supposed to be a big-time divorce lawyer. I was completely and absolutely unimpressed, and I whooped his butt.
Well.
I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, he's supposed to be some divorce specialist. Puh.
Well, see?
I don't know, Don. I mean, TC. I did that one on purpose. A lawsuit has been filed against a sporting company over alleged misrepresentation of health benefits of wearing one of their necklaces. Have you ever thought about that, those bracelets and things? Yeah. We ought to come up, green
magnets.
Water, a green water bracelet.
Ooh, there you go.
You should wear this green water bracelet, and it'll give you extra energy.
It cures your allergies.
Do you have a green water commercial, or are we still doing reruns?
Well, this is not necessarily a rerun, but it's a classic green water commercial. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
We got to get rid of that Law and Order thing. Get the band out of there.
Absolutely. I'm ready for it.
All right, here it is.
Hey, Mean Joe Green, are you hurt?
It's okay, kid.
You want my green water?
That's okay.
Go ahead, take it.
Okay.
Kid, take your green water in this jersey and get out of here.
Remember that classic green water commercial? Super Bowl.
That's good, man.
Back in the day.
That's good. When we return, I'm going to announce who my date is for the fundraiser Saturday night. I now have a date. And more legal on Real Talk 1160.
The Simon Kitten Pioneers host 12th-ranked George Rogers Clark tonight. Steve Jarnicki has the pregame starting at 7:06. Tip-off at 7:30 on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. And I want everybody to know that Sensible Don is out today because he's lazy. And he's going to be gone for a whole week down in Florida because he's lazy. I don't take vacations.
He's working hard. He's shoveling sunshine down there.
But my wife is out of town. Speaking of Florida, she's in Florida. But my daughter has agreed.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Your wife is out of town? Where'd she go?
She's down in Florida with her mom and dad.
And all of a sudden, Sensible Don is out of town.
You know what? I never thought about that because the way Sensible Don talks, he needs to be watched, doesn't he?
You know, and you guys are pretty close. You guys,
you know what I'm going to do?
Pictures,
I'm going to call. I'm going to call and make sure that Pam's gone too. Yeah. If Pam's at home, I'm driving to Florida.
Tell you what, you call Pam, and I'll call Don. We'll, see what if their phones ring at the same time. We'll know they're together, and then if not,
there could be trouble on the horizon. But my daughter, sick Chuck on him. My daughter Erica will be going with me on Saturday night.
All right,
that is an appropriate date if your wife can't make it, right?
Daddy-daughter date.
The Indiana State collapse. This is from the Enquirer yesterday. Indiana State Labor Department accused the Indiana State Fair Commission, the company that erected the stage, Mid-America Sound Corp., and its employees of violating safety regulations. The report accused Mid-America Sound Corp. Of plain indifference to safety standards, and Commissioner Lori Torres and the Mid-America Sound have cited 3 major safety violations. This is good news for those that were injured. Let's hope they have enough insurance.
And, I'm still trying to figure out or get some word on there was a mother and daughter from northern Kentucky.
Right.
And I don't know.
Were hurt bad.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten any word on their situation.
One of the things that I would like to stress to people, and I've been in contact with one of the individuals that were seriously injured in the casino who doesn't want to use a lawyer yet unless they feel like they need a lawyer. And I think you're going to need a lawyer, and here's the reason why. What happens in these things is you have a limited pot. I mean, even if that company had $1 million coverage, are you kidding me? So you're going to have to have somebody presenting your claim to jockey for. Hell, if there's $5 million, it's not going to be enough. That was the limitation from the state of Indiana, was $5 million that they had to divide up, the fair board because of limitations. So, sorry, folks. I hate to say this, and this is self-serving because I am a plaintiff's attorney, but if you're injured in one of these things, you got to get a lawyer, preferably the Bulldog. Two funny stories that I decided to throw them in here in law. A teacher, TC, sprayed Febreze on a student who smelled like fish. And she's apparently in trouble. Now,
why?
Can you picture that scenario, like me walking up like the Jacob here and just going, shh, with the Febreze? God, you smell like fish. Now, here's some questions that need to be answered. Why did the student smell like fish?
Yes.
Did he really smell like fish? Did the Febreze kill the fish smell? I mean, there could be a spike in Febreze. Do you smell like fish? Spray Febreze. She might become the spokesperson for Febreze.
Could be.
By the way,
change.
Febreze is pretty good. Keep a can in the restroom at home.
Did he smell like raw fish, or did he smell like cooked fish?
Smell like
tilapia?
Oh, man, I just had a good line. If only we were on Sirius satellite radio. Wait a minute, I don't think this would be a violation of any FCC rules.
I got my finger on the dump button.
Human fish?
Okay, we can get this. There we go. Let your imagination go on that one.
Dry off. Now, here's another one. An Ohio man from Zanesville, appropriate Zanesville, or like Zanesville, arrested for putting a 3-year-old in a dryer and turning it on. Now, that kid must have been either bad or wet. I'm putting you in the dryer and dry you off. Now, remember Dave Concepcion when they stuck Davey Concepcion in the dryer and turned it on?
Oh,
yeah, there's a famous story. They stuck Dave Concepcion in the dryer and turned it on.
That's a pretty big dryer. He's a tall guy.
I know, with his commercial dryer. So, hey, man, you shouldn't Davey Concepcion a 3-year-old.
That's right.
What's a guy thinking? In local news, that foreclosure lawsuit, Robo filing, $538 million comes back to Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Now, I got to make a comment about this. Now, I represent plaintiffs, but there's something like when something bad happens, like I get a phone call about medical malpractice, all right? And they say, well, I'm allergic to morphine. They gave me morphine, and I'll say, well, anything bad happened? They say no. Well, that's not a case. I can't stand the fact that these banks did robo-signings, signing affidavits that were false because they weren't real. But I got a major problem with this case, which is this. These individuals weren't harmed as a result of that. In other words, if you are behind on your mortgage and you're in foreclosure, whether or not the bank properly signed the affidavit or not is a procedural technicality, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you've missed 4 mortgage payments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's more like it's a punishment on the banks and not so much relief for the homeowner.
I agree. And by the way, I understand some of these people, they're not going to get a lot of money, like $1,500 on average.
Yeah.
Well, that really helps.
Now, why does you see the amount they broke it down between Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana? Ohio gets a big chunk of that.
Ohio's a bigger state.
Well, okay.
Much bigger state. And I also think they've probably been economically devastated more, the number of job losses. Lance Tiemann, and we can say his name because yesterday a Butler County juvenile court judge said he shall be tried as an adult in the death of Anthony Parker. This is the one-way farm home beating. In full disclosure, I represent the Anthony Parker family, and I just want everybody to know that there will be litigation over this because of, and the prosecutor spoke about this in the Inquirer, based upon the video. I mean, he took this kid and power drove him into the floor and then beat the hell out of him. The fact that this boy was not sent to the hospital immediately is incredible. I mean, it's incredible and so sad. And those of you who don't know the entire story, Anthony lost his life. Sad, sad, sad. The Hamilton County Coroner, TC, is Dr. Annette Bati, is that how you pronounce his name?
Bati, I'm not sure.
Has been hospitalized. Now, I'm not trying to make light of this because I hope he's okay, but I understand he's in critical condition. If the coroner dies, who does the autopsy?
That's a good point.
I will share with you. The coroner is an elected position. He usually has other doctors that do the actual autopsies. But I thought it was a pretty kind of witty thing to say.
That was very witty.
Toby Keith's bar open at Business in the Banks. And let me just tell you how it's going to go. It's going to open really hot, really popular. Everybody's going to go there. And each week and each month, it'll slowly drop off till they're bankrupt too. Welcome to the world of restaurant business. Powerball.
I love this bar.
Powerball is $310 million. Don't bother because my office pool is going to win.
There's no need. Retire.
There's no need for anybody else to play. Steve Shebbett's son, Brandon, charged with burglary. He's 22. He's a student at Miami University carrying a 3.17. And what it was, there's a McCullough High, which is a hospital. There was an annex that he apparently kicked in and got in there and pulled the alarm. Let me just defend this kid publicly. I'm going to defend the kid. If he was obviously drunk, it sounds like to me, this is a good kid, no trouble. TC, it sounds like a kid that got drunk, decided to break in something and pull off an alarm. He wasn't there to steal anything, and they make this sound like he was breaking in to burglarize. In fact, apparently the police station, he said, doesn't sound like something I do. It sounds like he was just drunk.
One too many,
and he's obviously a good kid, so I just want to send out support to the Steve Shabbett family, and hopefully Brandon can get this behind him. I don't think he'll be seeing any jail time. And if you need a lawyer, call 859-250-2527.
Yeah, if he's a good kid and his GPA is pretty, like a
3.7.
Yeah. Look, 3.7. That's impressive.
At Miami University.
Yeah, that's a hard school, no doubt. So he had to blow off some steam. He had one too many. He did something dumb. So you think give him a slap on the wrist and sin no more, let him go about his business.
I agree. Along the this kind of front, this legal front, Sensible Don, or TC. I keep saying Sensible Don. I miss you, baby. Hey, TC, Sensible Don, I just want you to know I'm not going to break up with you while you're gone.
That's right.
I won't text you. I'm breaking up. Did you hear the story? And I'm going to take a stand. I'm bold. There's a story about a judge. It's been in the news the last few days. I can't believe I forgot to not comment on it yesterday. A guy was charged with domestic violence. He apparently grabbed his wife around the neck, never hit her. And the judge ordered him to go get some flowers, get a card, take her to Red Lobster, and behave himself. And he took criticism, like the Fox News 5 on 5 criticized him for that, saying, this is terrible. Oh, how funny. It's a heartache comes on us.
Right.
When we come back, I'm going to give you some commentary on this case because I have a perspective I'd like to share with everybody. We're going to call him the Flowers Judge on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. What were we talking about?
We were talking about a legal case. The judge did something.
Oh, the Flowers case.
That's right, the Flowers judge.
And he gave the punishment for this guy charged with domestic violence who grabbed his wife around the neck but didn't punch her or anything like that. Made him go to get a card, flowers, take her to Red Lobster. And there's a lot of people that said, that's not taking domestic violence serious enough. Well, let me just share this with you. I have some people that I know very close. And I'm one of these individuals that say, man, you should never, ever, ever, ever lay hands on a woman. And those of you that are listening to this that have done that before, even if you're my friend, you're a jackwagon for doing it. And I'll tell you that to your face. But, and this is the big but, there is a difference. It's like all things. There is a difference between somebody in an emotional, passionate situation does something stupid that does not cause harm. In other words, they quote-unquote catch themselves. For example, I see a difference in some guy that gets mad, grabs his wife, wants to hit her, but he doesn't. He just controls himself versus a guy that hits her. Come on. There is a difference. This guy didn't hit her. And, I've just seen situations where the people get their act together and there's no later. People say, well, then later somebody dies from domestic violence. Sorry, there is degrees of everything. And there is a difference between a guy. For example, I one time one time got mad enough at my wife that I was mad, but I never hit her, and nor would I ever hit her. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and give you more information you need to know. I've been married 2 times. Both wives at some point or other have hit me. And guess what? I let them hit me. Punch away, throw away. That's what you got to do as a guy, right, TC?
Defend yourself. That's it. Just
put your hands up.
Right.
Let them swing at you, man.
Rope-a-dope.
I actually made fun of my wife for how she throws the phone at me. She kind of threw the phone like a girl.
She threw it like a girl?
Threw it like a girl. To this day, every once in a while, I'll go. She'll know it. Come on, man. If you've been married, you've had something thrown at you, whether you deserved it or not. I admit, I deserved it.
Slushies. Yeah.
But I think it was a good sentence. And another thing along these same lines, I've been thinking about this because I'm 48 years old, and I see a lot of people getting divorced. People that are that age group getting divorced. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you need to get divorced.
Right.
You run to get divorced. But I go the other direction as everybody else. I don't understand, like, if you're in a midlife crisis and you've been together with somebody. I met with a potential divorce client this week, an absolutely beautiful woman. Been married for over 20 years to this guy. They have a child. And he decides, he's obviously maybe seeing somebody else and doesn't know what he wants to do. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this woman has a good job. She's beautiful. She's smart. I can tell by one meeting with her, she's got her stuff together. And she's willing to give this guy a break if he straightens up and flies right. And I'm thinking, what a jackwagon.
And he doesn't want to do it.
Well, he doesn't know what he wants to do. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, see, I go the other way. I think when you get older, you should cling more to what you have because of the memories, because of the history, because of all of that. I go the other. I'm more inclined to say, man, I'd rather work this out than give up on it.
Yeah.
I don't understand a guy that wants to, quote unquote, start over at 48 years old.
So this couple's been together, what you said, 20 years?
Over 20 years.
20 years.
High school sweethearts.
Wow.
Now think of all those memories. You want to throw all that away? And by the way, I'm telling you, there ain't nothing wrong with this woman. I'm telling you right now. He apparently said to her, he goes, well, she looks like you. I'm like, what the? Well, that's a smart thing to say.
Just younger.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't understand the midlife crisis bit.
And, you got to think, too, in another 30 years, they'll be in their 70s. You've been together for 50 years. You're not going to find a young woman who's going to take care of your incontinence when you're 78 years old. But that woman's been with you for 50 years, will take care of you.
All right, man. I'm going to hold on to my wife till I die. And I tell you right now, you start over again, you got to revisit all the history. TC, how about this, okay? You start over. I already know. My wife and I already know everything about each other, okay?
Yeah. How
do you start over and you find out, all right, how many guys you been with?
Oh, yeah.
Give me, come on. Let's. What if you go out with some woman and you find out somebody you hate's pointer? Ah! At least I would go bonkers.
That's it.
But you don't know their past, their background. They seem perfect. Then you find out they're really secretly they got some major mental health issues. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you I'm bipolar. Well, why didn't you tell me that after I got divorced?
And I'll tell you something else too. With my ex and I, we can talk about things. There are certain things that only the two of us can appreciate, like something that happened with one of the kids when they were little.
Right.
That's special to us. Doesn't mean anything to anybody else. But who else can you discuss these kinds of things with?
Right. That's one of the sticky things about getting divorced. I'm married to somebody who's divorced, and just like you just said, when her son died, obviously there was some things that were obvious in the memories of Corey that I didn't share in.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, it sucks. You feel left out.
Yeah.
You do. You feel left out. But I don't want to go through that again. I would never want to go through that. Right. Anyway, just a little life observation. Oil change. My truck, new. I bought it new, right?
Yeah.
I just realized it's got 9,000 miles on it, and I've never had the oil changed yet. The light came on. You need oil change, and I'm like, okay.
Get the Rob
See how
Key
terrible
today.
I was with equipment around the farm?
We'll get that to Rob Key. He's got a deal, doesn't he? The oil change or something going on?
I'm going to Robke Automotive. A couple other random thoughts. The little girl at Walmart, how about her?
Oh, yeah.
That guy was going to pick her up and run with her. Now little girl just said, yeah! and fought and screamed and kicked.
Yeah, good for her.
Good
but
for
that's
her.
Scary. I mean, her parents must have just turned their head for a second, and all of a
Maybe
sudden,
even more for a second because she seemed to be in the aisle alone. But hey, I'm not going to judge the parents. We've all been there.
Walmart's a scary place. You get tased at Christmas.
You get tased at Christmas.
A security guard gets trampled to death. I don't know.
And then we forgot in pop culture, Paul McCartney got his star on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh yeah.
TC, remembered that? Good old Paul McCartney. By the way, this is my favorite song from Wings.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. And then finally, should we have a longer show or not, TC? There are some discussions on Facebook. Our show should be longer.
Well, I think they should add zeros to our paychecks, and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, I'm sure you're getting paid one more hour. That's really worth your while, isn't it?
Hey, but we do it for the love of the game, right?
That's right. You know what? I have to admit, I kind of like this 7 to 9 thing, but I'd be willing to do it, I guess. Just one more hour, less sleep. What's the big deal?
Yeah, so
I want to promote the
minutes.
4 Chaplains Memorial Service. My buddy Joe Smith brought this to me. 4 Chaplains Memorial Service, February 12th, which is this Sunday, noon mass, St. Boniface Church, 1750 Chase Avenue, North Side. It'll be on my Facebook page. And then there's a reception afterwards at the Charles Gailey VFW post. This is tells the story about the 4 chaplains who during World War II, a submarine was hit and was sinking, and the chaplains gave their life jackets to 4 other men to save their lives.
Wow.
How do you like that?
That is noble.
That is really noble.
Can we give a shout out?
Of course we can.
To Dan and Valerie. They started advertising with us not too long ago, very recently. Home Video Studio.
Video Studio.
You know what they do if you have like...
Let's get them in here. I'll fire Jacob.
They can be sidekicks. Have them be the sidekicks. The video sidekicks. But if you've got stuff, say like on VHS, pictures of the kids, that kind of thing, that's going to deteriorate over time. They can transfer all that to DVD for you.
You know what? I have some VHS that I ought to get transferred to DVD. All those old films.
Yeah. And they can do it. And they listen every morning.
Remember the video cameras, those big old I have one of those big old bulky cameras. VHS tape in it. I got this little now this is a video camera.
I know, on your cell phone.
And it's not a bad video camera. I mean, my gosh, the quality is incredible. So anyway.
You got more battery life too.
I also want to promote next Tuesday, which is Valentine's Day at 7 p.m., Ticket Sports Cafe. There is a comedy show by yours truly. And I went over the outline last night with Chuck. Good sign. Chuck was laughing at the outline. So that's good. I think it'll be a success. And I've decided on this, TC, because I've got to, you feel your way through. This will be my 3rd show. And I've decided I'm going to make an effort to focus on the legal bit.
Okay.
The legal humor. There's a lot of material. And the reason being is I feel like, always thinking big, that would give me a niche on the national stage. In other words, if I really developed a really, really good act with the material that I have, to say, hey, this is the Bulldog, he does legal humor.
Right.
I don't think there's anybody on the national stage. I've heard there's some lawyer comics out there, but there's nobody on the national stage doing Comedy Channel who's the lawyer comic.
Right.
And I'd like to be that lawyer comic.
You could have a lock on that market.
Lock on that market. But anyway, if you'd like to come to the show, I still got a few tickets that I will give to you because they gave me some because I don't charge. I'm going to start charging $10,000 a show to get the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
Make sure you check out our new lineup with Michael Savage, starting at noon today, followed by Dennis Miller at 3, right here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
And remember, Laura Ingram follows me. After you get your radio superbity, you get your radio addiction. How do you like radio addiction?
Your healthy radio addiction. Yeah.
After radio superbity. And then we have the sports guys from 5 to 7, Jeff Picaro, and Rick the Brick and Jay Lance from 5 to 7. Are you ready to turn to politics? I say we turn. Well, actually, before we turn to politics, we actually have a guest. And I want to apologize. I forgot what we're going to promote, but it doesn't make any difference because I am such a depth interviewer. I am such a good interviewer. They calling back?
Do what now?
They're going to call back?
Oh, they're coming in right after the 8:30 break, after the news and that.
Are they coming in or calling?
Calling on the phone. We're calling them.
Okay,
Dee
very
Stone
good.
is one of the ladies, and Amy, I apologize. I've got her information here.
It's all right. We'll get to it.
Got a good program going on this weekend. So.
On the political front, Rick Santorum made a little diversion, a trip to Texas and Oklahoma, and you might want to say why. Let me tell you why. Money. My guess is, I know politics, and I know what goes on behind the scenes. And I would suspect that a lot of the Rick Perry people, despite Rick Perry's endorsement of Newt Gingrich, but if you've noticed, Perry hasn't been out there on the campaign trail for him, is that the Texan conservatives with money have decided their last stand is going to be with Rick Santorum. And if you've paid attention to national Republican politics, some of the biggest benefactors financially are from Texas. Now, sure, Bush is from Texas, and Bush is in the camp of you-know-who, Mitt Romney. But Texas, they're independent, and I would guess that some of the very wealthy people, and remember, Rick Perry's on the other side of Bush right now. And I think I forget her name, that she's depicted in the movie Charlie Wilson's War. She's like a matriarch, and she's still alive down in Texas. And I would guess that she's maybe somebody that is behind this Rick Santorum visit to Texas to say, how can we help Rick Santorum make a last gasp stand against Mitt Romney? The CPAC convention has started, and I think you heard on the news that Ron Paul is boycotting, although I think Rand Paul spoke yesterday and did a great job. Mark Rubio is, of course, there. By the way, speaking of politics, at 1:30 today, I'm going to be meeting with Thomas Massey, who is a congressional candidate of the 4th Congressional District, and wanted to come meet with me. So I'm going to, what the heck, I'll meet with the guy. He's a Tea Party guy. But let me see, Newt Gingrich is going to speak. Santorum's going to speak. Mitt Romney's going to speak to CPAC convention. Michelle Bachmann, I think, spoke yesterday. She was funny. She talked about the 3 things she learned on the campaign trail, where John Wayne was really born, Elvis Presley's birthday, and those 3 things you can't forget. Oops. I mean, it's amazing how when they're out of the she talked about all it was a series of one humiliation after the other. It always amazes me how, like Bob Dole, after he ran for president, right after he lost, he was himself and he was funny. And it's like, under that spotlight, they change instead of just be themselves.
Yeah.
And everybody's better when you're yourself.
Because you get nervous or whatever. You want to put your best foot forward, your best face.
I studied Jerry Spence, the great trial lawyer, and I've been to his law office out in Wyoming. I'm going to be working on a case with Jerry Spence's son. I don't know if you remember the Devon Mullins case. He's the young man that was shot down at Fountain Square. Well, that police officer didn't realize there was a Fifth Third video. And people don't realize that he threw the kid's gun away, then shot him. And then after he shot him, he went and got the gun and brought it back to the scene of the crime. Pretty incredible. Anyway, I'm going to be working on that case with Jerry Spence's son. I met him when my wife and I went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming earlier this year, or last year. But you know what? The reality is that, you just have to be yourself. And Jerry Spence always talked about that when you try a case or you're standing in front of a jury, you gain credibility if you're yourself. And I'm that way. I'm myself. I always say that when I argue to a jury, I treat them like they're 12 of my buddies in my living room and we're watching a football game together. How would you try to convince them of like the team that you like? I mean, that's the way you got to be. You can't and because if you're not yourself, it comes through and you come off very phony. Also speaking at the CPAC convention is going to be DeMint, Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, governors of Virginia, McDonald, Florida. That's what's the governor of? Is it Ward? I can't think of his name. Louisiana, Jindal. Wisconsin, Walker. There will also be speeches and seminar presentations. Ann Coulter, Breitbart, Laura Ingraham, Michael Medved, Craig Shirley, Oliver North, Jonah Goldberg, S.E. Coop, Cal Thomas, Dana Loesch, Rich Lowry, Ed Morrissey, Matt Lewis, Roger Hedcock, Eric Deters, Mike Huckabee, Fred Thompson, and Denise D'Souza.
And among those, all those people in that room, one of them could be the Republican vice presidential nominee.
You're right. Do you believe they haven't invited me for the second straight year? Come on, CPAC, get your stuff together. You know what? I'm being serious. I'd go down there and I'd deliver a speech. I'd let it rip. People say, who was that guy?
Well, they knew Sensible Don was going to be gone, and they thought we can't have Eric come down. If Don's off, can't have both of you guys off at the same time.
That's true. Homeland Security. There's going to be a congressional hearing now to be held in the monitoring of anti-government sentiment and signs of unrest. I tell you right now, if they're monitoring people, I'm sure they got me on the old radar screen. I'm the guy that says, let's have an armed march to Washington. Yeah, they're watching me. I got an FBI file. They've arrested the guy that they arrested that did the glitter bomber. They're calling the glitter bomber on Mitt Romney in Colorado. His name is Peter Smith. Turns out he works for the Colorado State Democrats. Faces 6 months. Are you kidding me? He's going to go to jail for a glitter bomb.
Hey, a bomb's a bomb.
Insider trading. Representative Spencer Baucus, Republican from Alabama. Get this, TC. He's the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. He's under investigation for insider trading.
Just the one? Just that guy?
God, can you imagine that? He's the head of the House Financial Services Committee, and he's doing some insider trading. What a jackwagon.
Yeah, jack him up for sure.
Yeah, he's going to get it. Archbishop Timothy Dolan, the New York Catholic leader, claims Obama promised him no intrusion in an Oval Office meeting. Said he walked away saying, hey, everything's going to be fine. Just like Barack Obama, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, we're all good, man. We're all good. And then wham. He does a wham. And the economic report I have. Google, they plan a home entertainment system that apparently has Apple nervous. Diamond Foods earlier this week fired their CEO. Why? Accounting discrepancies. Those of you that think the economy's proving, grab this one. Pepsi cutting 8,700 jobs.
There'll be Pepsi Light.
And you know what? That's a lot of, instead of Pepsi Max. That's a lot of people, and those are good jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about quality jobs. I'll guarantee you those 8,700 Pepsi jobs have got to be good jobs, not minimum wage jobs. Groupon. Have you ever used Groupon? Not me.
No, I saw it before, and it just kind of got on my nerves after a while.
The largest daily deal site surprised investors with a fourth quarter loss after an expansion into lower margin businesses sapped profitability during its first quarter. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, let me just tell you something. It is always a catch-22. But usually, if you're expanding, you're not going to make as much profit.
Yeah.
I know that because I've been expanding the last couple years, and it has cut into my profit. But I am plotting and planning for the future. And I tell you right now, TC, not to brag, I've been hearing reports. For example, I just heard a report from a lawyer that's over 60 years old, been a lawyer forever, did a criminal practice, PI practice, is retiring because business is dried up.
Really?
I have so much business. The phones just keep ringing. The emails keep coming every single day. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I want you to continue to do that. Don't ever, ever, ever think I'm too busy for another good case, because I'm not. I got a great team that helps me. As I always point out, every doctor has some good nurses. Well, I have a good team as well, but I'm never too busy for a great case. I don't want you to ever think, well, I don't want to call Bulldog, he's too busy. Are you kidding me? For example, the other night, the phone this is so cool to brag about. At midnight, the phone rings. I'm working, so I answer it. It's a client of an existing pretty big case. Well, they have another big case. Tragically, the death of a baby. Got sent home from the hospital, had pneumonia, TC. They said, they didn't diagnose pneumonia. They just said, your baby's fine, just got a cold, go home. Later that night, blue. Autopsy, pneumonia. They sent a baby home that had pneumonia. And I can tell you right now, because I've handled these cases before, you got to get antibiotics in ASAP. Every hour counts. And so guess what? I call Chuck. Chuck goes over. 1 o'clock in the morning, Chuck's at the hospital meeting him, getting all the information. That's how we roll. I mean, keep bragging. I have now in my office a retired captain of the Cincinnati Police Department that helps me on my police cases. I've got an insurance expert who's in the insurance industry helping me deal with those insurance cases. I got nurses. I mean, I got a team. I got an army to unleash, TC. When it needs unleashing.
A former general, Or well, not a general, what?
Former chaplain.
The guy that came on that we talked with the one day, a few months back.
Oh, yeah. Former captain in the Navy.
Yeah.
Speaks Arabic
Smart
for our
guy.
Muslim clients.
Smart guy.
On Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. That was a lousy imitation of marvelous. You look marvelous.
We'll have to get on the dock about that one.
What did Robke, John Bick, getting back, call him Kitzman?
Oh, yeah,
for calling him Robke?
See, we're going to start a little controversy between these two. Remember back when the Crosstown shootout, how Furman set that up, and all of a sudden there's a big brawl? We'll have clients fighting in the lobby.
Love it.
Smack them down.
Before we get to the Jack Wagons and Oracles of the day, we have a guest on now. Her name is Dee Stone. Dee Stone, welcome to Real Talk 1160, and I got to ask you a very important question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you able to say something witty and wise today instead of plain and stupid?
I will try.
All right. Tell us all about Mitch's Mission and the upcoming events.
Mitch's Mission is a foundation that raises money to send kids with cancer and blood diseases from Cincinnati Children's to summer camp here locally at Camp Joy. And the event is this Sunday. It's called Playdate with the Bearcats. It's at the UC Rec Center, and it's from 2 to 5 this Sunday afternoon. And what it is we bring in a lot of UC athletes. We're going to have about 150 UC athletes there. Families can come, enjoy all the amenities of the rec center, and just hang out with the athletes. Shoot hoops with them, play cornhole with them, just interact with them. It's a very, very fun event.
Well, that is a great event, and, I honored today J.K. Schaefer, who is the Bearcat. He is Bearcat of the Hour. He won the Big East Scholar Athlete Award, and he's about to be presented with the highest honor, Deb Stone, that Bulldog Nation Radio can bestow, which is Oracle status. And I think we might have to give this event that you're having Oracle status as well. If they want more information, because people don't realize this over the radio, they're driving and they'll remember a concept and they can maybe plug it into their phone. But if they think to themselves, okay, I'm interested in helping out in this event or attending the event, where can they go to get information later?
They can go to our website, mitchesmission.com.
That's easy. Mitch's Mission. That's an S in there. MitchSmission.com. Mitch'sMissionS.com. And it's this Sunday, February 12th from 2 to 5. So you can't wait till next week. You got to do it right now.
That's right. Do it today.
Mitch's Mission. How long has Mitch's Mission been around? Give us a little bit of background on this.
Well, Mitch's Mission, we started in 2009, right after my son Mitch finished his treatments with his chemo treatments. And so last year was our first event, and this year will be our second annual.
Second annual. Are we going to have a third annual?
Yes, we will. This is a great event. It's good for, the players love it, the kids who come love it, and it's for a great cause. So, yes, we will definitely have a third.
Well, it's definitely a great cause. I say all the time, the nurses and the individuals that work at Children's Hospital and Shriners Hospital, they're saints.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, they're saints, and I've had cancer's affected everybody, and excuse me for saying this, Deb, but I always just say cancer sucks. And my first wife died of cancer, and I have somebody who is employed with me right now. Their child, who I think's a middle schooler, I don't think is grade school, middle schooler, was just diagnosed with cancer. I mean, you're talking about a child,
right? And
prognosis looks good, thanks to Children's Hospital. But it's just a devastating disease, and how can anybody not want to help out some fundraising event, Mitch's Mission that is, that helps kids with pediatric cancer and blood diseases? I mean, that's a good cause. Although lots of causes are good, most causes are good. You can't even one up this cause.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
All right, Deb Stone. We'll promote the hell out of it for the rest of the show, okay? And thanks for calling in and being a member of Bulldog Nation Radio.
Happy to be one. Thank you.
That is Deb Stone, and the cause is Mitch's Mission. It's Sunday, February 12th. That's this Sunday, at the University of Cincinnati Rec Center from 2 to 5 p.m., and they play date with the Bearcats to benefit the pediatric cancer and blood disease patients at Children's Hospital. You're going to see UC Bearcat football players, the Bearcat mascot, other UC sports team. It's only $15 a person, $50 a family. Tickets in advance are at the door. There's going to be rock climbing, swimming in the lazy river, basketball, carnival games, face painting, everything that you want to do with it. I mean, what a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. And guess what, folks? No more football. No more football on Sunday. So it's a great time to take the kids out. Go ahead, TC.
I was going to say there may be some members of the UC Bearcats baseball team showing up on Sunday as well, which would be great because we're going to have UC baseball later this spring here on Real Talk 1160.
Well, you know what? Good for that.
Yeah.
We have NKU basketball. We'll have UC baseball. Are you ready for the Jack Wagons and the Oracles?
I am ready. I am so ready.
I got to write down another Oracle here. Just it's going to be a big surprise. Yeah. All right, the Jack Wagons of the day, and we're just going to do one Jack Wagon for all of them because it doesn't get too annoying. This is from a Bulldog Nation member. Now, remember, you're allowed to submit Bulldog Nation. You're allowed to submit Jack Wagons and Oracles for consideration. Kenwood Towing. Apparently, we're busted for overcharging and impounding vehicles. And you know what? I'm an American enterprise guy, capitalism. We need tow trucks. But I tell you right now, overcharging for impounded vehicles, that's jackwagon status.
Yeah.
Peter Smith, the glitter bomber. I forget his name, but the dryer dude, the dude that stuck the 3-year-old in the dryer.
Definitely.
Representative Spencer Baucus, the insider trading man, who's on the committee for finance. And I'm sorry, Matt Lauer makes too much money.
That's it. Put him on the list.
So they're all jackwagons. So there you go. Now the Oracles. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I have 25,000 Facebook friends, and I think I'm all that in a bag of chips. Adele has 117 million people check out her YouTube song.
No doubt.
That's Oracle status. That is incredible. Sylvester Stallone and Arnold. Man, they need it. They're recovering. Archbishop Tim Dolan, who's basically saying he's throwing down on Obama. He's saying, "Oh yeah, oh yeah,
bring it, baby.
You might be the president, but you know what? I am the leader of the flock."
That's right. That's right.
And as Archbishop of New York, he's kind of like the leader of the Catholic Church in the United States.
Right.
He's cool. You know what? He's a good Irishman.
You think by chance that
there's nothing better than an Irish priest?
Oh, yeah.
There is nothing better than an Irish priest.
Yeah.
They'll drink with you. They'll party with you. Or an Italian priest. At St. Cecilia, we have Father Mario. He's pretty cool. But go ahead, TC.
I love going to those festivals in the summertime. You know, you think that there's some sort of political ploy, some election ploy that the Obama administration is working on? I mean, why would they attack the Catholic Church now?
Well, will they gain if they do it and then pull it back? I say no. I think damage already done. No, I think it's just something stupid. Well, look at the XL pipeline. Dumb move.
Right.
Look what he could have said. Politically, he could have said, look at me. I'm creating these jobs.
Yeah, you're right.
Instead, he appealed to his left. I just feel like Barack Obama has decided he's going all the way to the left to try to win re-election. And I don't think it's going to work. But I think he's just going all the way to the left. Yeah. So he feels like, hey, all those pro-abortioners, all those liberals that support abortion rights, he's going to get them fired up. He's
going to get them, yeah.
But you know what? He won. I can't believe this. He won the Catholic vote last time. Yeah. Zero chance this time. And those people that think, well, Catholics use contraceptives, that's not the point.
Right.
The issue is the imposition upon the Catholic Church for their hospitals. I mean, right here, okay? We got Good Sam. We got Christ. We got St. Elizabeth. These are Catholic institutions, folks. Right. And guess what? They don't want their employees to be commanded that they got to provide as part of their health care plans the morning after pill.
And he's going to lose the Latino vote?
Yes. Yes. The Hispanic vote. And by the way, you don't get more Catholic than the Hispanics.
Right.
I mean, they're Catholics.
I mean, when
they follow the Pope. When the Pope says do something, they do it.
Joe Biden tells you, dude, you made a mistake. Okay, you really screwed up.
I know.
When Joe Biden tells you.
I know. And you know what? Joe Biden, I don't agree with all of him, but he's lovable.
Yeah.
Isn't he lovable? I mean, he's just all his gaffes and all his goof ups, and the only asset. I mean, the guy has no money except the big house he lives in that he inherited. He inherited a mansion in Delaware, and that's kind of his big asset. And Lunch Pail Joe, and in his background, his wife died.
Yeah.
He had a son that I think either died or almost died of in a car wreck. No, I think he lost his wife and maybe a child in the bad accident. Wasn't it an accident?
Really?
Did he lose a child? But he went to the hospital every single day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Joe Biden's likable. And by the way, I like likable liberals on the other side, like Bob Beckel on Fox News.
Okay.
He's a likable liberal.
Yeah.
It's the mean, nasty ones that I just
What about James Carville? What about that guy? I think James Carville's likable. You don't like him, likable guy? I like Carville.
How about I like Carville. Carville's one I like. I like Carville. I like Beckel. How do you not like Carville? But then the ones you don't like are a great example is Keith Olbermann.
Yeah.
He's just too mean and nasty.
Right. Don't need that.
Right. You're going to like this other oracle, Steve Shabbat. The guy needs some support. He needs some support. J.K. Schaefer and Deb Stone and Mitch's Mission are all oracles today, baby. When we come back, I might have to give a political rant or something to close out the show on Real Talk 1160.
This afternoon, it's the other guys from 5 to 7, Jeff, Rick the Brick, and Jay. They'll be live at Tickets tonight at Ticket Sports Bar on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. And I will be back on Monday with Radio Superbity without Sensible Don again.
We'll be senseless.
Sorry, Don. Don't need you, buddy. I love you, Don. No. Don, I'm making it all up. I love you, man. I ain't going to break up with you. By the way, my buddy that broke up with me, oh, my God, is he going to – I hope he's not in the audience. Well, no, he won't be in the audience because we broke up in my comedy show.
He'll be there in spirit, I'm sure.
Yes, he will be. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I'm not going to rant in the sense that my voice will be raised, although sometimes I get worked up into a crescendo. But, I think sometimes – life moves so fast. The pace of our lives goes so fast. I mean, let's face it. We wake up in the morning and we get going. I mean, if you're a homemaker, you get up, you got to get the kids dressed, you got to feed them breakfast, and off you go, and you take them to school, and then you got to go to the dry cleaning, you got to clean the house, you got to go here, you got to help in the kitchen at the cafeteria. Moms, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're a working mom, you know what I'm talking about. You do all that, and then you head off to the office or wherever you work, and you come home and you do it again, and you're exhausted by the end of the night. If you're a man, same thing. You get up, you go to work, whether you're a blue-collar guy that listens to me, or you're a white-collar guy that listens to me, or you're a public servant, whatever your walk of life, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's fast-paced. You get up and you go. I think one of the advantages of talk radio is that you can listen while you work. It's something that you can stay engaged with what's going on because you don't have time to watch the television set at 5 o'clock news because, you're getting dinner ready or you're still at work or you're on your drive home. So we serve a purpose. And I've mentioned today already in the practice of law, one of the things you have to do, and by the way, if you're a salesperson, whatever your role is, I'm going to give you a great life tip. Be yourself. It doesn't mean you can't improve yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't kind of refine the edges. But you got to have your own personality. It's like, for example, there's some people with certain personalities. You're not going to be able to do certain jobs. You're just not going to be able to do it. There's something empowering when you're yourself. Like, for example, I speak to juries just like I speak to you every day on this radio station. And it works. I might lose a case because the facts weren't on my side or the law wasn't on my side. I never lose a case because I suck. I actually tell my clients that. I says, when this trial's over, we may win or lose, but you're not going to look and say, man, my lawyer sucked. And I'm myself. And another thing that I have learned, and this is kind of funny that it took talk radio for me to learn this, because when I wrote college papers, Sister Phillip and Dr. Abair would just sit there and they would say, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you wrote too much, because I was afraid I would leave something out. So I've learned from talk radio is simplicity, and I do it in briefs. I have written 1 or 2 page documents in response to a 50-page brief from my opponent. And I've learned that judges appreciate that. Get to the point. What's the point? And when you're doing talk radio and you get a caller call in and they want to go off all kind of different tangents, you redirect them and you stay focused. Plus, you have limited time to communicate an idea or a thought, so you have to speak clearly and express clearly. So I'm going to do that as we close out our show today on a very simple concept. A very simple concept. And that concept is liberty. Or if you want to use another word for it, is freedom. This entire country was founded, the United States of America was founded upon independence. And that independence was based upon our founding fathers wanting themselves and their constituents, as they began the state governments that we created in the federal government, liberty and freedom from government. They wanted limited government. They wanted checks and balances in government. And the whole idea is government was only supposed to do that which we can't do for ourselves. National defense, yep, need the government to do that. Benjamin Franklin created a fire department, post office, library. If you look around your local state and county government, I think you can distinguish those entities which are necessary. We need a road crew, don't we? Take care of the roads, salt the roads. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it this way. We need liberty, more and more liberty. Now, I'm going to do this off the top of my head. I jotted down a few of them, but I didn't do any preparation to do this. This week we announced that in L.A. County, there's a 35-page ordinance that will fine somebody $1,000 for throwing a Frisbee or a football on the beach. Are you kidding me? Now, let me tell you where that comes from. That comes from an individual or a group of individuals maybe getting hit by the ball, hit by the Frisbee. And we can use this as a classic example of what happens is when a vocal few then rise up and use their influence to have a law that is passed that infringes upon everybody based upon a beef of a few. And that goes on repeated over and over again in local, county, and state level. One of my best friends is Mike Ponzer. He and his family went on a City of Independence Council tour to ban pit bulls on their street, dogs, worried about kids getting bit and everything else. Mike Little, a member of the Independent City Council, who his wife, Loretta, works for me, two of the finest people you'd ever want to meet. Mike Little did a study, and he found out that, guess what, folks? Nobody in Kentucky has died by a pit bull fight. I think there was like one. It happened in Louisville like years ago. But City Council, how could you not be for this ordinance? So it passed. I even gave my buddy grief about it. Let me see. We now have smoking bans. Private property, a private bar, a private restaurant, you can't have smoking in it. Incredible infringement upon our liberty. Now, do you really think James Madison and Alexander Hamilton and the rest of the good old boys that we call our founding fathers envisioned a Frisbee football law on a beach? Dog leash laws? Smoking ban laws? And then on a bigger magnitude and a bigger stage, we have the casino issues on state level being bantered about. We have Obamacare. You must give health insurance to your employees or you're a criminal. I tell you right now, we have Madison and Alexander Hamilton and John Jay and Franklin and Jefferson and Washington and John Adams, Patrick Henry. They're spinning in their graves. Dodd-Frank. Because banks abuse their power, well, let's go 180 degrees the other way. How about the National Defense Act that was passed that gives the president power to just pick you up and take you off? No trial, no Fourth Amendment rights, no Bill of rights, just done. It's incredible. So what's going on in this country on a local level, a state level, and a federal level, and it's been going on probably, I would say, it began at the turn of the century a little bit, picked up a little speed with the FDR, really gained speed since the 1960s. And as I pointed out, the hypocrisy of the hippies that wanted all their freedom, they're the ones that are giving us all the laws now that they're legislators. So you wonder why Ron Paul has a little niche that gains steam everywhere he goes. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, all of our politicians should ask this question on every law. Is this infringement of liberty justifiable? Most of the time, the answer should be no. What'd you think of my rant there, TC?
No, I agree with you. I agree with just about everything you said there.
I mean, isn't it amazing? You almost get caught up. You get so used to it that you forget what's really happening. It is a removal of our liberty.
Loss
it's
of freedom.
why I don't like rules. Don't bring up Spaghetti-gate.
All the other rules. See, all the other rules that, throwing a Frisbee on the beach. Come on.
I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog. Remember, every dog has their day. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. If the roads get bad tomorrow, my daughter's going to be going with me down to the Syndicate. I think I'm going to go see the movie The Gray tonight.
Drive carefully.
I'll go alone, sit in the back. I think I'm a pervert. On Real Talk 1160.